On the offense, we can dig further into this Coleman idea and what this Bills offense has been, can be, should be, any of that. Last year, we all know, right? They scored 30 points per game. They were a great offense last year. No disputing that. They were a great offense. They ran for 30 touchdowns. They threw for 30 touchdowns. They how often struggled to score points? Not that often, right? In the playoffs, they put up their points, and it was a great season, and they got undone by their defense, I guess is what most would say. This season, off to another incredible start, 41 points. A lot of that is the virtuoso performance from Josh Allen. Like, he is, of course, the best player in the league, best player in the sport, and he bails them out quite a bit. He is one of one. He and Lamar, I guess. Lamar is another one of one. They're incredible to watch. So, in that department, the matchup, Fields v. Allen today, and that's a massive, massive gap. So, you'd give a huge edge to the Bills. You give a huge edge to Allen. What I would love to see more of from this offense is, throw it. What got them in trouble in the opener? What got them down double digits? It's having the ball and getting a 2nd and 1 and a run play, and a 3rd and 1 and a run play. And I feel like the Bills are a little less reliable these days on the short yardage stuff. And whatever, it's one game, so we got a whole season to figure out if their success rate on 3rd and 1s is going to be good, or it's whatever it's going to be. But 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, I know many of you were frustrated by that series. And the next series, what is it? Screen, short slant, screen. It's 6 plays where, with Josh Allen as your quarterback, you're thinking, I just went 2 full possessions. First was run, punt. And the second was 3 passes, but short passes. Like, I got 6 consecutive plays where I decided to, let the guy that's the genius back there just be a bystander. And I don't think they've got to manage that, right? They've got to the fight for Allen and how much to have him do to unleash him, what you want to do with the run-pass balance, how much you want him on the move, how much you want to run play action. There's a lot to kind of dig into for this Bills offense, and if it's commitment to the run or commitment to the yak game where you're getting screens out to Shakir or Kincaid or whoever, they have a good structure, no doubt about it. And it's kind of tough sometimes to basically call unstructured stuff, but that is where the Bills are really good. The Bills now have 2 players where unstructured might be their A game. Allen, arguably. I mean, he's pretty great in structure too. But Coleman's 8 for 112 and a touchdown. A lot of that comes outside of the quick passing game. You need time for deeper developing routes. You need time for him to separate later in the route because he's not a guy that's really ever going to separate early. So if I'm using Allen and Coleman as 2 of my better players on offense, I want to make sure that I get regular dropbacks, and that's a spot where you want to call plays that are designed for Shakir, Kincaid, anybody but Coleman, and then the break glass in case emergency is Allen finds Coleman. Like that's a good plan B or plan C on a lot of plays, and I think we're going to see it work a lot this year. So what do you want to see more of? What do you want to see less of? What's the mirage? And what is sustainable? 803-0550. Our phone number. It is Buffalo Bills Game Day, and we'll get to your calls and open things up. Justin in Maryland leads us off. Justin, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I did some research after the James Cook, you're talking about what's real, his 3 consecutive runs, starting with 2nd and 1, which really slowed us down. One of the things I found revealing, and maybe you'll find the same, is I looked at the 2024, which teams have the most passes on 2nd and short. And when I say 2nd and short, I mean 2nd and 3 or less.
Yeah.
And it amazed me. The Bills on 2nd and 3 ranked 24th in the league. They only passed it 6 times. By the way, Josh Allen had a 158.3 perfect passer rating on those. on 2nd and 2, we were a little better. We were ranked 8th. We passed it 7 times. And Allen was 126.5 was the rating. And finally, on 2nd and 1, we ranked dead last. We passed it 1 time, all 2024. And the only time we passed it last game was because we were down by 15 points. And I think there's two things. One, we're not taking advantage of what's called shot plays, those opportunities. And I think we're too predictable on second and short. And teams can look at the stats and what we do, and they're saying, well, these guys don't pass it. So how could Cook do well running if we're always telling people we're going to run it? They know in advance. So what I would like to see this year is the opportunity. I'm going to 2nd and 1. You don't take it out of your best player's hand. You give Josh a chance to throw it. And I just thought you might find that was interesting information.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. Thanks for the phone call. It's. I appreciate you doing all that work and like looking into that, because if you watch this team, you probably get the feeling that, well, especially if you're keyed in on it, right? Every time it happens, you think, I can't believe that you're not taking shots again, and that is a downfield passing game. Maybe you saw Allen's passing chart from last week where it's all over the field, but by halftime. Boy, I think Howard gave me the stat when he came to pick the Bills on Sunday that the Bills had however many passing attempts they had. I think all but one were within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage in that first half. I mean, before the drive to get the field goal where Allen scrambles and finds Shakir and then finds Kincaid on that deep over, on the underneath play that goes underneath like the Hail Mary. Like those are big plays down the field, right? And before that, it's just dink and dunk to a point, but they are designed to be that way. They are designed to be a team that does well after the catch. And that's where, small thing here, but Coleman is so interesting for like so many things they want to do. He's their above the rim guy. He's also their big body guy. He's also the yards after catch guy. And all these short plays that you kind of run, whether it's for Palmer, he had a quick slant. Coleman is a really good candidate for these, for after the catch. And we've not seen a ton of screens to him yet. I can't think of too many. In the AFC Championship game, the screen goes to Amari Cooper. I can remember screens to, Kincaid, and I can remember screens to Knox. And I don't feel like I have that many to Coleman. And that's a player that I think would be well served to get a couple of those, well, maybe one per game. Maybe the look presents itself. Allen checks into these screens and checks into these shorter throws too sometimes. But back to your point about running the ball, maybe it's something that, you look at a you look at a beautiful cathedral, you look at a beautiful landscape and you see one small thing, you're like, yeah, I really wish that was a little different. That might be Joe Brady on 2nd and 1. There's lots to like about what he does. He's convinced me that the way they run the ball is really important. They protect Allen. There are a couple things they do, though, that don't sit well with me. And I'd like them to be different, but whatever. Like, they win games at the end of the day. Like, they can point to the scoreboard, right? The two things are, 1, 2nd and short. 2nd and 1, if you want to go to 2nd and 4, they're a run-heavy team. They're a team that runs the ball. Neutral game script, they run a lot more than they used to. And again, they win a lot all the time. They don't turn the ball over. So that's a formula that they like. But one of the side effects is if you're going to run more, you have to find places to run more. And you certainly aren't going to do it on 3rd and long. You're not going to do it on 2nd and long, I don't think. So what's the natural? All right, if we're going to add 10 more runs to every game that we do based on the Bills of Dorsey and Dable, I want 10 more runs. Switch 10 passes to runs. I mean, my 2nd and short spots are spots where if I run that, I got a good chance to get a first down. And in that game against Baltimore, they didn't either time. But it's something that Justin, as you did all that work on 2nd and short, I did that on the playoff game against the Chiefs. And the playoff game against the Chiefs, not the AFC Championship game, but the year before, where they're here in Buffalo. And that was an opportunity to maybe take more shot plays, but they didn't. They like to move the sticks. Hey, it's 2nd and 1. What are we calling here? Let's get a new set. And I think a lot of people wish, all right, here's a great opportunity to try and get 15 to 20 yards, because if you don't take a sack, which is something Allen is elite at, like of all the things that could go wrong, few teams would have less of a concern about their quarterback taking a sack and ruining the 2nd and 1 than the Bills. The Bills should have almost no concern of that, whether it's getting the ball out quick or Allen taking off or getting Allen on the move. Like 2nd and 1s should be play action rollouts. I mean, I don't know about every time. I don't want to be predictable like the caller just said, but you get an opportunity to get Allen to take shots down the field, and it's one thing this offense has not hit on is deep shots down the field, 20-plus yard passes. I saw stats in the Buffalo News earlier this offseason, right before the season began, that Allen threw the second most passes of 20 yards or more, and from an efficiency standpoint, he's in the bottom 20s. They tried it last year. He still is out to try it. They just haven't really ever hit it. And I think 2nd and 1's a great time to try and workshop it. If it doesn't work out, all right, get to your 3rd and 1 play. 803-0550. Thanks for the phone call. And 1-888-550-2550. Again, trying to find out ways for this offense to be better. You might need a receiver you have faith can do that. I don't know if Palmer will be that, but he showed some nice ability against the Ravens on that final drive. He shook loose, and Allen found him with a perfect throw. They like their Coleman go balls. We didn't see Moore get down the field in this game. Shavers is someone that I don't know if they like for that. Shakir, it's not often been his game. So do they have a guy to do that, to take a shot play, if you want to call it a shot play? We'll see. They've been searching for it. They talked about it a lot this offseason, and there's no obvious guy in that spot right now. Moore was one we thought to be that guy, but his use was, of course, limited in that opener against the Ravens. Mike in Ocean City is up next here on Buffalo Bills Game Day. Hey, Mike, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Jeremy. Happy Elite Kickoff Day, by the way. This is the greatest time of the year. Beautiful weather, man. It is unbelievable. So I'm right there with you.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's wonderful.
Here's a couple things I want to look at from this game from an offense, and then I'm going to give you a defensive standpoint. But I want to see how well Keon Coleman's developed with the matchup of Sauce Gardner. I got to see that. And let's just say Keon struggles and he gets neutralized. Kincaid is really going to be the X factor for me, even taking that intermediate. He's not going to take the deep shots, I don't think, but that intermediate range play. But I'm really looking at Kincaid today. And then also the 2 D tackles, man. We got to stop the run. That's the first thing that's on my mind. We put up 41 points last week, and we looked fine on offense. It's the defensive tackles. Are those rookies going to come in there and shut down what, to me, looks like a formidable run game?
Yeah. That run game, thanks for the phone call. Thanks, Mike. That run game, Breece Hall, what's everyone's memories of Breece Hall against the Bills? An 84-yarder, right? He can house call them. And that's, man, it's been a slow kind of move to this department. The Bills used to, under McDermott in the first however many years, with Poyer and Hyde, and I don't know how often we should still bring them up because they're a couple years removed, even though Poyer's on the practice squad here. Big, long plays, the Bills just gave up so few explosives. It really used to be the calling card of this Bills defense. And I guess some of the funny irony of it, if irony is the right word, is that the league has gone to a place where defenses have changed and taken away explosives or tried to take away explosives. And while that has happened, the Bills are kind of getting got for them way more than they used to. It could be I had 6 plays over 70 yards in 8 years I could remember. There's the Derrick Henry touchdown. There's Dalvin Cook against the Vikings. And now, Henry, of course, went for a couple. And if Hall goes for one today, all of a sudden this Bills defense is getting talked about as one that, hey, maybe Josh Allen is up for MVP again because less about the offensive storyline, but because the defensive storyline. If they're unable to make stops, he might get in shootouts. And they might find themselves in a shootout today against the Jets, which would be, of all the things to predict, these two teams do not often play a shootout. In fact, the Jets often have the Bills' number defensively, and the Bills, don't have too much to worry about, whether it's Joe Flacco, Mike White, Zach Wilson, even Aaron Rodgers. Last year against Rodgers, they were fine. It was close because Rodgers hit a Hail Mary at the end of the half. So, 803-0550. Thanks, Mike, for the phone call. Open phone lines for you if you want to jump in. It's just me today, solo, and happy to take your calls. Jump in, fill some of these gaps for me. Give me your thoughts on Bills-Jets if you're confident, and where that opener really put you. We know the game was incredible. I want to get into that a little bit. Does it have you feeling a little better or a little shakier about where the season might go? Or, could just be about the same. I end up being pretty close to the same, but we'll get into that. 803-0550, 1-888-550-2550.